Now the cameras are pretty powerful. I'm about 50 yards away and you can still see the CCX letters on my hat. Shannon, I am Queen of the Hill. I'm off of County Road 81 and 63rd Avenue, and this is just one of the spots where Hennepin County dumps snow. The tariffs went into effect September 24th at a rate of 10%. Now, it'll stay at that same rate until the end of the year. Shannon, the boy and his mom filed a report with the Maple Grove Police Department late Friday night. I'm at North Suburban Towing, and the scene here is absolutely crazy. Check out all these vehicles. Minnesota gun control advocates rallied at the Capitol this week, urging the Republican-controlled Senate to take up two bills that are close to passing the House. Now, police tell me that the robbers didn't use any weapons, but they did get away with cash. They're calling it a state of emergency. Now, behind me, the rotunda is packed with immigrants from Liberia. Now, a few minutes ago, they were chanting, "Renew, renew." Now, every officer in the Brooklyn Park Police Force is now getting a protective carrier vest, thanks to a generous donation from Living Word Church. Not everyone is counting down the days to spring. For some folks, winter can be downright fun. As Eric Nelson found out, snowshoeing is a great way to get outside and enjoy what's left of the snow. Now, Shannon, people I talk with are really surprised that this happened right around the corner from the Crystal Police Station. Now, police tell me that the robbers didn't use any weapons, but they did get away with cash. They also took away something much more valuable. On December 2nd, two men entered the home of 99-year-old John Joe Shea and his wife, Jerry. They demanded money, dragging John by the arm until they got what they were looking for.
They pushed the elderly couple around some, and including dragging the male resident.
John received a cut on his arm. He was treated for his injuries, but had to return back to the hospital several days later, where he later died from an infection.
The injuries that the resident sustained happened during the course of the robbery, and the medical examiner has ruled this death a homicide.
He was a nice guy.
The news hit hard for people who knew the couple well.
I was really shocked because I said, no, it cannot be them because I know that they are really old.
Dr. William Leon is a dentist and purchased the business that sits right next door to John and Jerry's home.
Yeah, I call Grandpa and Grandma because I feel really like his grandson.
Dr. Leon spoke with Jerry after the crime happened.
Grandma told me that the guys enter, wake up him, and they were trying to force his arm and say, "What is the money? What is the money?"
But Dr. Leon says John Joe Shea didn't hear those commands because he was deaf.
He didn't listen to anything, so they tried to scream and thinking that that he's not trying to give the money.
Now, sadly, Jerry Joe Shea is dead too, passing away from natural causes shortly after her husband, John.
I think this dramatic moment to her was like shocking, and he was everything for her.
Now, John liked to tinker in his garage while his wife Jerry liked to read books and talk politics. Their friends say that they're going to really miss them. Meanwhile, police do not have a description of the suspects, but they don't think that this is random and the public is not in danger. If you have any information, give Crystal Police a call. Live in Crystal, Sonya Goins, CCX News. So what exactly is diversity? For the purpose of this story, we're focusing on race and ethnicity.
I think it just means a lot of different people from different walks of life.
We found the definition of diversity depends on who you ask.
Diversity means having an environment where different people, whether of color or age or any kind of different background, get together.
There you go, look at that.
The answers varied from city to city.
I think ideas, core values, first principles, those are the things that really matter when it comes to diversity.
Diversity to me means a lot of different cultures, different ethnicities and backgrounds all coming together.
It's not about skin, it's about the mind. If the mind's not diverse, we can't be diverse.
Older adults offered up different answers too.
People of color mostly, that kind of thing. My neighbor's black.
You're surrounded by it. You can't get away from it.
No matter the definition, there's no denying it. The Northwest suburbs are becoming more diverse, and you don't have to look around too hard to find it. From the African International Market in Brooklyn Park,
a cassava leaf is perfectly seasoned,
to Hmong dancers in Brooklyn Center. The landscape is changing. Drive down Brooklyn Boulevard and Brooklyn Park, and it looks like a mini United Nations.
When I'm visiting my grandparents in Wisconsin, it's a lot more white people or Caucasian people, so it's always great coming back home and seeing all this great diversity here in this area.
But there can be a dark side when there's a lack of diversity. Some people try to assimilate by changing or hiding their identity to fit in with the majority population.
I did try at one point to bleach my skin, if that makes sense, just so I could walk around without getting stares. And then I got older and I just figured, hey, it's my skin, love me or not.
Hate crimes have increased nationwide with demographic changes, especially populations with increased minority groups. The Northwest Metro is not immune to the disturbing trend. A racial slur used to reference black people was recently put on a sign that not only negatively impacted a Brooklyn Center restaurant, but the community too.
It is a horrible thing. It's a horrendous display of racism, I believe, in our city. Doesn't reflect where our city stands on diversity of cultures or ethnicity.
Some people like to say that we're all the same and race and ethnicity doesn't matter.
You know, we're not the same, but I think that that is a good thing. I think that some people feel very hesitant about the fact that we're not the same.
Duchess Harris is a professor of American Studies at MACALESTER College in St. Paul.
I think many Americans still think that our national identity is one that is of white people or Caucasians.
Harris is also an author, writing about race and culture in America. She's most known for the book she wrote about her grandmother called Hidden Human Computers, The Black Women of NASA.
For people who've seen the Hidden Figures movie, she actually was there 20 years before that movie took place, and she worked with all those women.
Professor Harris says it's important to talk about race and celebrate our differences.
I think that if you meet people where they are and get to know them and learn about the differences and respect the differences, then we're able to get along much better.
And most people agree, if we all looked the same and came from the same place, this world would be a pretty dull place.
You're gonna be like living in a box if you only are around certain type of people that are just like you.
It's healthy to be around different races and backgrounds. You can learn from each other.
Melanin of skin, height, eye color, hair length, whatever it is really less important than diversity of ideas and experiences.
Professor Harris says talking about diversity also helps to remove fear. She says once people get to know each other, they can move forward and hopefully learn something new. She also encourages folks to celebrate our rich history and explore new communities. Meanwhile, coming up on Wednesday, we'll show you how Brooklyn Park officials are trying to foster an environment where diversity and inclusion are the norm.
There were many people asking, what's that? What's going to happen with that?
Some folks don't know what to make of a new item at the Golden Valley Historical Society.
It was just kind of a twinkle in the eye at that point. We'll figure something out.
Volunteer Ken Huber is the brains behind the confectionery Curiosity.
And I realized we could have some fun with this in our new museum.
A classic movie and the city name,
Golden Ticket, Golden Valley, get it?
Make for a golden combination.
Golden Valley Historical Society. And when you think of candy and candy bars, you think of Willy Wonka.
Ken was excited when he stumbled upon the relic at a flea market.
I was excited because I had been in coin-op collectibles long enough to realize that these machines are potentially quite valuable, and also they're getting harder and harder to find.
It was in horrible condition when he found it.
This machine started out life as sort of a beige, tan, Band-Aid colored machine.
He spent evenings and weekends restoring the 1940s vintage coin-operated candy machine.
And then, of course, it had to be golden yellow.
Colorful LED bulbs and bright yellow paint make it stand out.
Veruca Salt, Mike TV, Violet Beauregard.
Characters from the movie are prominently displayed.
Charlie, of course, Willie, Grandpa Joe.
If you haven't guessed, Ken is a huge fan of the movie.
Oompa loompa doompity doo, I've got another puzzle for you.
And speaking about a puzzle,
and give it a pull,
customers get a sweet taste of history when they make a purchase.
What highway is named for a Minnesota governor of the 1930s, Floyd B. Olson?
Unlike the movie, your odds of getting a golden ticket are pretty good.
We just want everybody to feel happy and special, and everybody's going to get a golden ticket.
The history buff is sharing his passion, one pull at a time.
The machine speaks for itself. History is fun.
Sonya Goins, CCX News.